Everybody, this is Money Mom. I'll be uploading this video Wednesday. I was really excited to do this one. I want to talk to you about, from my personal experience, why the 10 reasons why we are so much heavier in the 2018 compared to when I grew up in the 1970s. This is from my own personal experience. I'd love to hear yours in the comments below. Let's get started. As you guys know, I've had a weight problem for a long time. My weight problem began in 8th grade. But a weight problem back then is totally different. When I said I had a weight problem, I was 5'3" in 8th grade, and I weighed 138 pounds. I was considered morbidly obese and wore an 11 in juniors. Now, if it was nowadays and I was that size, I'd probably be one of the thinner girls. So I'm going to go over the 10 reasons why I think we're heavier. Number 6 is going to really surprise you, and many of you may very much disagree with me. So let's get started. Number 1, we occasionally went out to eat, but it was very rare, and it was for a very special occasion, but it wasn't very often. Number 2, with that being said, we cooked our food at home. Many of the moms in our neighborhood, growing up, I grew up in a suburb of, I grew up in Woodbury, Minnesota, which is a suburb of St. Paul. And most of the mothers were stay-at-home moms, and most of us cooked from scratch, or the mothers did. And so we had very little convenience food. If we wanted something to eat, it had to be made. Number 3, this is a biggie. We rode our bikes everywhere. And if you wanted to do something, or someone said, a child had the nerve enough to say you're bored, 2 things happen. Go outside and play, or let me give you a household chore. You never said you were bored. So they didn't say go binge watch Netflix or play video games. You had to go outside and play, and you'd play outside for hours and hours and hours, or you'd be out helping your parents in the yard weed or shoveling snow. Since most of you know I'm from Minnesota, I remember doing a lot of that. Number 4, if we wanted a snack, we had to ask. We could not just go get any food that we wanted. So we would have, regular meal times, and so let's just say it was on a Saturday, and I'll say I had breakfast, say, at 8 a.m., we had lunch at noon, we always had dinner at 5, and say it's 3 o'clock, and I said, Mom, I'm hungry, I would have to ask for a snack, and if so, a lot of times it was a piece of fruit, it wasn't a cookie. So that would be something else. And sometimes Mom would say, no, you have to wait till dinner. So that's number 4. Number 5, water. We didn't have other things at the house to have. My parents drank black coffee, and I remember trying that when I was a child and not enjoying it. But we drank a lot of water, and if we wanted something to drink, it was milk for dinner and water in between. If we had pop, as we call it in Minnesota, it was like twice a year at the holidays, and that was it. Number 6. This is the one that's going to surprise you, and many of you may disagree. I may get some thumbs down. That's okay. I know you hear a lot of people nowadays say, you know what, it's not what we're eating or how much we're eating, but it's all the preservatives in the food and the corn syrup. I do understand that those things are not good for us. I do agree with that. But you know what? We ate those kinds of things when in the 70s. For example, for lunch we had Wonder Bread and a bologna sandwich. Not too many people would say that was healthy. The difference was our portions. I remember growing up, we would have like a little small bowl of cereal. It may be a piece of toast, and maybe like a hard-boiled egg with it and a little orange juice. That would be our breakfast. For lunch, we might have a sandwich, like a bologna sandwich, and an apple or an orange, or half of a banana, and a couple little chips, and maybe some carrot sticks. And then for dinner, you'd have a regular small dinner. We'll just say, a little bit of Hungarian goulash, some green beans on the side, maybe some Jell-O. And they were very small portions. So we ate a lot of the same foods we do now, but the portions were about half the size. And I remember when I was young, we very rarely had the TV dinners. Occasionally. I'm talking it was so rare. And I remember when I was a little girl, I had a big appetite. And my dad got to have a Hungry Man dinner, which was twice as big, Salisbury steak, but I only got a small dinner, and I wanted a Hungry Man like him. I didn't get it, though. Anyway, so portions were way smaller and than they are now. That was a big one. Also, number 7, desserts were for special occasions. We didn't have desserts and sweets and goodies and cookies in the house all the time. They were for very special occasions only. Number 8. Now these next 3 are quite interesting. Sizes of clothes. When I was young and I was in junior high and I started to gain a little bit of weight, the sizes in juniors, we got a lot of our clothes at Sears or JCPenney's. They were size 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. And some of the stores didn't even have 11. If you were bigger than that, you had to go to Montgomery Ward's. They had some 13s there. If you were bigger than that, you had to get your clothes in the women's sizes. And none of the teenage girls wanted that. So when you don't have a lot of choice in sizes of clothing, you can't be big because there would be nothing literally to wear. And I am not joking when I say that. That would be the one thing my mom would say, Dawn, you can't get any bigger than 138 because you won't have clothes to wear. As you got closer in the 80s, it got, a little bit different. This was in the late 70s when this was going on. It was in 1978 when I was in 8th grade. So, number 9, this is the big thing. It was not acceptable to be overweight or fat at all. You got bullied for it. Now, I am not saying that it is right to do that. I'm a big person in believing and loving everybody, no matter what size you are, no matter what you look like. I don't believe in being hurtful to anyone for any reason. So, but they were mean to you, and it wasn't socially acceptable. And the mothers would put it and tell you, if you want to date, you've got to be thin for a guy to like you. So it just wasn't acceptable, and so people knew that. And I think that was part of the reason that we kept our weight down a little bit more then too. And by the way, when I was in 8th grade, I was put on a diet by my mother, and I got to 120 pounds. And it's sad to say this, but I became very popular after that, and people liked me because I had a cute figure. And I feel like that's really sad that people would like you because you're thinner. Anyway, whole nother topic and a whole nother video. Now, last but not least, regular meal times. We had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It depends if it was a school day, but we'll just take a Saturday. We'd have breakfast at 8, lunch at noon, dinner at 5, and that was it for the day. Occasionally at night, if we were going to watch TV, we might pop up a little bit of popcorn, something like that, but it was on a very small scale. So these are some of the reasons why I feel that we are so much larger nowadays. The big other thing is we were constantly moving. We did not sit around. There were always chores to be done and things to, we didn't get to sit around and relax all the time. We had a lot of things that we had to do around the house and a lot of things we had to do in the yard. So we were not sedentary people. So I'd love to hear what you guys think. Do you disagree with any of mine? How were you raised? And let me know your thoughts on this. I know this was a little longer video. I hope it resonated with some of you. Before I go, I want to do a shout out to Decade for Freedom. Love Jane, love Ed. They just did a videotape about what they think of Dave Ramsey and the baby steps. It was short, sweet, and really good. I'm going to link it below. Love you guys. Bye.